what led up to you meeting up with Master P and everything?
So we were making some tapes in Kansas City doing our thing.
Okay.
And man, I just didn't want to be local. You know what I mean? So I used to send tapes to like all the big companies back then, the Jives and the Priorities and shit.
Right.
And they would send that shit back saying that they don't accept unsolicited material. I didn't know what the fuck that meant, right? I'm like, what? So Kansas City had no industry. I'm like 17 years old. You know what I mean? So so something in me just said, you know what? Send this shit to some smaller labels. I didn't have the verbiage of independent. I didn't know what that was, but I knew that Rap a Lot and Black Market up in Sacramento and Dog Day and In a Minute in the Bay and these labels for some reason just seemed like they were reachable, accessible. So remember back in the day with the CDs and the tapes, they have all the addresses and the numbers and shit on there. So I would send tapes out and Master P, No Limit, at the time he was in the Bay. So I would fill up his voicemail. You know, he had just a benign voicemail, and I would call that bitch back to back to back to back so nobody else could leave voicemails. And just like, yeah, I'm Court Dog, I'm from Kansas City, woo, 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 and hang up, call right back. I sent probably about 10 tapes to everybody. Like, that's how ready I was, how hungry I was. Right. And so got his attention, you know, and he heard the tape, he liked it. At the time, Bone Thugs and Harmony had just come out. I think Thuggish Ruggish Bone, Creeping on the Come Up was real big. This was right before East 99, like 94, 95.
Oh, so they're in the lead up to them becoming huge.
Yeah. And so I'm from the Midwest, so our style was in the vein of that.
Okay.
So, you know, P was like, fuck y'all, my versions are Bone Thugs.
Really?
Yeah. So he called my dad's house. I was actually sitting on the toilet stool, and and the phone rang. And it went to it was answer machine back then.
Right.
And so I get up the second time and waddle to the fucking phone and answer the phone. And he's like, "Can I speak to Courtney?" I'm like, "He ain't here," because you know my dad's name is Courtney, and I didn't recognize the voice. And so he was like, "All right, tell him P called." So I was like, "No, hold on." I said, "This is me." And so he kind of laughed. Was like, "What, you dodging somebody? You got bill collectors or something?" You know, I don't think he knew how young I was, and we started from there. And so we talked for probably about a couple weeks, and he sent plane tickets. He said he was doing Down South Hustlers. So that was the first album that we were featured on. We did the song R.I.P.
Because Master P wasn't like huge at that time, right?
No, he had his regional spots. He was just bubbling. He had just did the deal with Priority.
He really blew up in like 97, 98.
That's when he really
right. That's when he's on MTV all the time.
Yeah,
and shit,
right. But this is right before Ice Cream Man, because I remember hearing the Ice Cream Man instrumental in the studio when he flew us out to the Bay. Yeah.
Wow. And so, I mean, what was it that stood out about you? Do you think it was your force of personality, or do you think that your music was genuinely good at that time?
Maybe a little both.
Okay.
I think what it was is me and P hit it off from the gate. We're kindred spirits. You know, we were both athletes. Neither one of us smoked and drank. You know, we were both very disciplined and focused. And we just clicked as friends, you know what I mean? So I think the friendship is what solidified the other shit, really. I mean, because looking back on it, my partner was very much more talented than me.
The guy you were in the group
The guy
with.
was in the group with Cisco. Yeah,
Right.
He was way more advanced than me. I was more the business guy and the visionary and the mouthpiece of the group. So I think P, he just saw that in me. And yeah, I mean, we were good though.
Right.
Yeah.
When I met Master P, and this was like kind of early in me doing podcasts, so it was sort of like, you know, I was extra like blown away because I hadn't really been around that many famous people, but I remember, you know, SUVs full of dudes pulling up to our store and just like all guys wearing all black, just pouring out of the car and just posting up all over the alley. So by the time Master P drives in, these guys have already scouted out the whole area. They know that there's no bullshit about to happen and everything. And I was very kind of taken aback. I hadn't seen anything like that at that time. And even just the force of his personality, like he was just so, not even like super serious, because he was nice and he was capable of laughing with us and everything like that. But there's just such an aura about him that like, holy fuck, this guy has seen it all and he is not fucking around at all. Was that the vibe when you met up with him for the first time, or were you kind of on the same level?
Well, you know what? The thing that I think about it, because I was an only child. P, you know, he became my big brother.
Okay.
You know, so yeah, but when I met P, he was a gangster, straight up. That's why we hit it off.
Right.
Like when I met P, he used to keep 2 Glocks on him. Like he was wild back then.
Right.
You know, we've all evolved since then. But yeah, you know, we spoke the same language, you know, and he had a vision, and it was work ethic. And you got to think, I'm from Kansas City. So at that point, I had never been in a real studio.
Right.
I had never, you know, now I'm in a studio with K-Lou and you know, Beats by the Pound. I'm in a real studio, so I know a lot of the youngsters ain't gonna know this, but you know, they had reel to reel and shit like that. Like before that, we was just recording on 4-track recorders and shit.
Right.
So now I'm in state-of-the-art studios, and so it was a hell of an experience, because you got to think he took us from 0 to, you know, to 10.
Did
like
it level
like
your
that.
music up a lot right there? Just
It did.
being with
It
fire
did,
producers
but
and
it
everything?
was an adjustment, because I'm from the Midwest, so a lot of the music that we were used to rapping over was like the Bay Area shit,
Right.
the West Coast shit. Well, Beats by the Pound was giving that bounce, so it was a little bit of an adjustment with that. It was actually kind of difficult for me, really.
Right.
Yeah.
Was Master P ever? Did he ever send you to go have a talk with somebody? Do you have that kind of relationship?
Nah.
No. Nothing like that.
Nah.
He just wanted you to be an artist.
Well, yeah, I was a kid back then.
Right.
You know what I mean? Now, as we got older and our relationship evolved, and I start wearing different hats with No Limit. I mean, you know, I went from the artist to executive positions and wearing many other hats as well.
Right.
But no, I wasn't always built like this. I played point guard, so I was a skinny dude. I looked like the 6th member of Bone Thugs back then.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
you weren't fucking working out at that time?
No, I didn't pick up a weight till I was 30,
30.
Yeah.
And you're how old now?
46.
Jesus Christ. I hope I look like that at
Yeah.
46.
My oldest child, my daughter's 30.
Wow.
Yeah. My daughter
Mind-blowing.
graduated college and everything.
Holy shit. So you're a
Yeah.
grandfather?
No,
Oh,
she
not
ain't had
yet.
no kids. No, not yet.
But
Not
maybe
yet.
soon?
I don't think, not by her. No, because
okay.
my oldest daughter, she like to travel and shit. She's selfish. She don't.
Wow.
She want to do what she want to do.
Does that kind of piss you off? You want to be a grandfather?
Nah, I ain't got time.
No.
I told all my kids, because my son's 22 and my youngest daughter's about to be 17.
Right.
So I told them all, hey, daddy ain't got time. I'm young. Shit. You
But
know
I
what mean?
realized that when I was talking to T.I. is that he's produced so many kids, and
Yeah.
now he gets to sit back and
Yeah.
have them create grandkids.
Yeah.
And he gets to enjoy the cuteness and the fun of having
ain't there yet.
a little kid to hang out with, but then ultimately he's not the one who has to fucking
Right.
change the diaper and
Right.
shit.
Right.
That's a pretty cool position
And I
to
think
be in.
I'm older than T.I. So I ain't there yet. I told my kids, look, man, they ain't drop them off to my old lady, you know what I'm saying? But daddy on the road. We still on the No Limit tour. I got my podcast. I still, you know, I'm a young guy.
Okay, guys, we want to thank you so much for getting us to 100,000 subscribers right here on the Clips channel. If you want to support, please click that subscribe button. We're trying to get to 200K. Thank you so much.